this is actually a perfect person to talk to about too. This is like my little like weird, goofy approach on like historical, geographical understanding of trying to have my bearing on places because I'm an autist. But like, I think one of the reasons the energy industry, obviously because the energy's here, the shit's up, but also it can sustain it because there's no natural disasters here. Like you can build the very important shit and like nothing.
Like the Space Center.
There's no earthquakes that'll come and wreck it. There's no hurricane that'll come and destroy it. There's no tornado that'll come and pick it up. You know what I mean? The only thing that'll happen is you get some water every once in a while. But my theory on it is, you know Graham Hancock, right? That's my favorite guy. So like, if you look into, I'm pretty sure this is just a giant river delta. This is the Permian Basin.
That's what I've been thinking.
This is a giant.
And there was
river
parts
delta.
where we went through that was like, I was like, man, it looks like a shit ton of water came through here, you know?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, this is like my very edgy, on the fringe, you know, put on my hat, Graham Hancock stuff idea. But anyways, and so you get all that that deposit of carbon life form, and then that gets deposited over and over and over and over again at the giant mouth of the river delta. And guess what you have? Is you have billions of metric tons of fucking petro fuel down there, and then you times that with whatever the shape of that giant riverbed. We'll get some high winds when it comes down into the basin, and we'll get some floods. But other than that, we don't really get anything. You know, the buildings they build out here, it's crazy. It's one of the first things I noticed. Like, they'll build a building out of anything, and mostly 85%, 90% is just metal buildings out here because they're just like, they don't give a fuck. They're like, nothing's coming. We're fine. Just put it up with a couple of fucking nails and shit. It'll stay.
Yeah,
Where in Florida, you gotta have all these building codes. Everything's tied down. Fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's they're all spazzing about making sure the building endure. Here it not.
It's making me think of, this is like real far out as well, about some stuff that I've been hearing about, like the Graham Hancock 12,000 year cycle thing. He likes to say that it's an asteroid that hit the North American ice cap and like melted all this water instantly and like created a big flood and stuff. But I've also heard people talking about solar flares.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, where it's like that. It's real far out, and it's crazy to think about, you know. But solar flare has to do with volcanoes and earthquakes, and could like unlock the crust to some extent, and then that would like slosh the water.
And so that could be a
big tsunamis.
Yeah, big.
And he suggested this has happened every 12,000 years for a long time.
Oh, I see where you're going now. Yeah, that's fast.
Because it goes with
very cool.
And it goes with solar cycles. Yeah, I mean it's cool. Yeah, and I mean that's kind of
very cool.
And also like the the theological aspect of it kind of is
flood.
You know,
the flood will come.
And also just the sense of like how our reality is set up. It's like, you know, why is there a sun? Why does the sun make solar flares and such? It's like, I don't know. This is stuff I've been thinking about.
Yeah, they'll shit on you. The tree is full of birds.
They're really loud.
Yeah, I thought it was bugs.
Look at all them tricks.
Why is that so big? Do I take out the thing?
Got the headlights on?
Yes. We've made it. To you? Bucky the Beavers. Look at this place. So many things. Those sandwiches. This is a gas station, dude. Let's going on? Look at all this jerky. Jerky wall. My rod, my orienting rod. The orientation rod. Right. Cowhides.
You know, why is there a sun? Why does the sun make solar flares and such? It's like, I don't know. This is stuff I've been thinking about a bit.
Yeah.
Like, you notice on my videos, I put the galactic sensor, and I've heard that it's actually waves coming out from that, which affect the solar cycles as well. So it's interesting, like this kind of nested unities and such. But anyway, the point being is that this one particular guy on YouTube suggests that like the whole freaking east half of the United States, like, and some of the bottom stuff would be like hit by this wave, and I don't know if that's true. It's pretty crazy to think about, you know. But that's just one thing that comes to mind in terms of like natural disaster.
Speculation is whatever, but the gist of the argument is fascinating.
Yeah, it's just something that comes to mind in terms of like possible natural disasters, and that's some aspect we've been thinking about a bit, like you know, places that would be resilient towards some sort of difficulties and such. You know, like yeah.
All that kind of like violent magnetic shifting, or even where, you know,
disruptive strategies. That's one thing that I've heard you say before. You know, like that's a verzache term, right? It's like this kind of, you have to add some chaos in it, and it
put some noise. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Stop from overfitting the data.
Yeah. You know, maybe if you go 13,000 years, then you start overfitting a bit. You know, so you need this kind of, you know, it's hard to think about because it's so many people like that would be perhaps like affected by this and very badly. You know,
you could be more technical. You could say, let's say there's a 8,000 to 15,000 year window, and if you pass the 15,000 year threshold, all of life stagnates and dies off, and so then you have to you risk rebooting the whole process. The universe, life, whatever. I say God doesn't want that, so what he does is he puts it in this oscillating optimization thing where it can, if it gets below 8,000, you know what I mean, then whatever, it's too volatile and life can't endure, and then you have to reboot the process again, right? But then if you hit between 8 and 15,000, it's just enough time to where the things are just enough enduring and strong and just enough resilient to where when you hit them with the chaotic solar flare disruptive strategy of the universe. I love talking. This is why TLC fucking rules, because me and him have been supposed to be talking for like 15 years. We've been supposed to be hanging out doing this, talking about this shit for 15 years. And it's not just John. It's me and a bunch of these goobers. Anyways.
Yeah, man. Everyone's
if you hit the right, proper 8 to 15,000 year window, it's just enough resilience and enduring through the organisms that it fosters this innovation, this evolution.
Yeah.
Right?
I can see it. And maybe it's like, you know, that to realize that that's kind of the pattern or something, and to then like that's the next step up is like when you can, you know, like maybe there was a time when humans couldn't go out at nighttime ever, you know, and it was like, all right, there's this cyclical recurrence of dissonance and disruption,
well,
which
how you define humans? That's actually a fact. We know that.
Yeah. So
we're it's the opposite. Diurnal. We're diurnal. We're not nocturnal.
Yeah. So it's like, but eventually we figured out that all right, this nighttime comes every, you know, and like we can make these mitigating things. I don't know. It's how basically this idea that like people talk about like the great filter and such as well, right? And like maybe it's that we have to, I don't know. What I'm trying to get to is how, like what will be carried through, you know? Maybe the Egyptian pyramids were built before the last one or something, you know? Such that these people were trying to like preserve, maybe they knew about this recurring thing, you know? And like maybe we should be thinking about this more, is basically what I'm saying in terms of like what we can pass on to the next iteration, you know?
I hear you. I'm not in a little bit of a tangential argument, but I've been thinking about this. Is this idea, because you said like we should be thinking about it. Well, I thought about this and like, and I think it also has to do with like the age, right? I'm getting mid-age, and so it was this idea of like, it wasn't specifically on Pascal's Wager, but it was like Matthew's diving into his own version of Pascal's Wager, and I was just like, it got me this idea of like thinking of this idea of judgment on my death. Like that's what it was. I was really fucking high, and I started to really like walk through these like implications, and I was like, okay, so I just lived this life. If I continue how I'm living, Matthew, and then I go and I gotta go knock on the golden gate, it's like, and I have that conversation. How is it really gonna go? What is that joker really gonna tell me? And how ashamed am I going to be right now? And it just fucked me up. I was just like, oh my gosh. If this is the one gift this dude give me, and I have done this little bit of effort, I've been this big of a dickhead, I've done this much of depravity, I was just like, there's a seriousness to this Matthew's Wager, this Pascal's Wager. Just even the thought of having that conversation, of him looking at me and be like, dude, I gave you the one cosmological gift. And this is what you were doing, bro?
I would recommend you visit Mr. Matt Parlato.
Yeah, and bring your dancing shoes. On the south side of Midland, everybody speaks Spanish. And on the north side of Midland, not really everybody speaks Spanish. And that's pretty much your little small town downtown. Now we're going to flip around and we're going to get back to the main strip. You are completely been imbibed and cuckolded by the urban monoculture and the everything is fake, gay, and cutting edge San Francisco culture. Well, you realize at some point, you need this balance of like either I can be fine in my own culture, or we can both be fine in our own culture, or we have to stop whatever this kind of gray ooze, everything becomes this gray ooze. It's back into the beauty thing, right? Is everything becomes this smooth, just mush, exactly. and there's no like. At that point, the diversity is just a word. It's not even the actual meaning and the depth to it is become it's rendered useless. It's rendered empty.
It's true. Yeah, you need like Peugeot likes to talk about fuzzy borders, and how like there's no such thing as like fixed, closed, hard identities. Like there's always kind of variability, but at the same time there are borders. They're just not like these hard, definitional left-brain lines that we like to think about,
Like, I think you're crazy for not talking about it. Which is why we've all self-selected into this weird fucking group of misfits. Yeah. So
it's been a theme though, like seemingly every sub, like people go take a trip down memory lane in the car.
That's where I lived for 3 months.
What's the name?
Our Lady of Guadalupe. Basically, met this guy chopping it up at the bar, talking about throwing hatchets on ESPN. And just noticed the philosophy book I was reading. I noticed all his Christian jewelry. We started talking. He invited me to come to this service, and I was so blown away. They had their yearly festival, and it was so impressive, the community, that I haven't looked back. This has been my church ever since.
Heard that?
Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Have mercy towards us, and after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
And it started to coo, and it started to like, when you do a rosary, you do like this kind of singy stuff. But I think it's all obvious. They wouldn't be allowed to do it if it wasn't within like a strict Catholic confines. They'd be all cast out as heretics. But
And it's got that cultural aspect of like
yeah,
it's
very,
from
yeah, very.
like a lot of the people are kind of in that
Lady of Guadalupe heritage.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe you have something to add?
It feels like a small country. Everybody's pretty cool, but maybe we all pretend we're cowboys, even though most of us don't have a horse. We like to work hard. We go to church a lot. A lot of places, there's like a division between people that only go to bars or only go to churches, and I think in the South, Texas too, it's like those groups are like married, or at least they kind of exist in the same people. I guess in this area, it really isn't that much different than any other place. There's just, I think the unfortunate thing is that people just try to get a job, make some money, and then get out of here. And so you really get this feeling that all this is temporary. And I know that a lot of people want to put roots in here, but even the roots seem temporary, like a potted plant almost. And I think a lot of people are always anxious about the oil field falling off and everyone's just abandoning it. And to me, I feel like if you were going to abandon it, then I don't know. It's I hate that mentality almost of things are hard, so we leave. Women are really pretty, and I think maybe Texas has like this. For me, I feel like I'd have to be a lot tougher than I really am, or I aspire to be more masculine, or have everything together, because a lot of things seem not well put together. As we found out, Midland was founded in 1840. It was the midway point between Fort Worth and El Paso. And so Midland is kind of like that. It's one of the most dense area of this like little strip in America where it has the least population. Because most people either live on the East Coast or in California. Yeah. And there's like this huge empty line. So this is the most populated area in that empty. And there's a lot of good Christian folks. And I know people try to be their best.
Yeah. Maybe something briefly about race and culture in terms of like immigration and multiculturalism.
Well, it's kind of a hard one because I think race it's hard because you really want to value your race, your ethnicity, your heritage, but we're trying to not focus on that and be more Christian. And I can see why white pride is becoming more prominent or popular.
It's kind of like a lower level of analysis almost. It's like, yeah, even though we have different races and we are like, various people groups, like, and should have kind of, should honor their heritage and stuff, it's that ultimately we're all kind of together in Christ or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you have to choose. I mean, you can like your culture, but if there might come to a time where it's like you have to be un-Christ-like to maintain your ethnicity's hierarchy or dominance or just avocation, so you have to choose. But, at the same time, it might be easy for other people to, be racial abolitionists, but, be sleeping around, so everyone has their
Yeah. Yeah. Here we are at Home Depot.
Well, I think needs tools.
They do have,
I'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
With your continued program.
Sponsored by Home Depot. And I only worked in the oil field for just a couple months.
You didn't like it?
It's kind of a crazy story.
Look how sunburned he got.
It was like,
You seen that?
it was like,
Yeah, sure.
like they're
Buddy
taking
got
you down
sunburned.
fast, but if like, if you have to fast, they'd be like, we're going to eat meals with our brothers.
Woo! 1, 2, 3.
All right,
Thanks, Jim. Have a great day.